So wait. You were in a Christian cult and then you got out of it and realized you were a vampire?
Yes, it's a little more complicated than that. I grew up.
It's more complicated than that? That's crazy. Yeah. You went from cult to occult, I guess.
Yeah.
It's time to get wild.
That was wild.
Welcome to That Was Wild. I'm Adam Macias, and this episode is going to be wild. This is a show where I talk to my wildly funny friends about the wild things happening in the world, and this episode is no exception because we have a very special guest. Oh, well, first off, I have two special guests. I got a returning champion, Kenny Gray, sitting right here.
Champion.
Returning champion. Kenny Gray, he's a phenom, a character phenom, comedic phenom, currently back from New York or going to New York?
Going to New York.
Going to New York?
Well, depending on when this comes out.
Which will be, when is New York?
January 12th.
So yeah, probably right around time. We'll try to make this happen.
If you live in New York City, come see my show,
which is Kenny Goes to Sleep
at Caveat.
And in New York, you're gonna change it to Kenny Never Sleeps, just like New York, baby.
I'll be eating the Big Apple the whole time,
and you're gonna be like, you guys should go to sleep. You guys should go to sleep.
It's the show that never sleeps.
Thank you so much for coming.
Of course.
You're here because last time you came on, it was a very Halloween themed. We talked about vampires. You talked about how you had a spooky vampire friend.
Yes.
But we also talked about a spooky vampire person in real life. Her name was Vampire Hellie. She talks about how she is a real life vampire.
I've never put a full-on curse on somebody because that can get you for generations, and I'll talk about the differences between curses.
Love
this.
Okay.
I mean, I've never put a curse on anyone.
I'm a good vampire. After we posted a video of that conversation, it blew up. Some would say infected the internet. It went viral, yes, you could say.
Uh-huh.
These are all vampire puns. So much so that it got back to her, Vampire Hellie. She reached out to us, and Winona Ryder in Dracula, I invited her in. That's right. I invited her in. I invited her in on the show. So welcome, everybody, on the show to That Was Wild. It's Vampire Hellie. What's up? Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. This is an amazing. I'm a fan of your content. We said on the show that we're fans of yours. We did the research. We blessed this podcast with holy water just to protect ourselves. But also not really, not at all.
I've heard that holy water is pretty gross, actually, so I wouldn't recommend that.
We have so many questions for you. First off, what's it like being a vampire?
Yeah,
you know.
Or how could you not have questions? Like, I can't come up on the internet and say I'm a vampire and expect people not to have questions.
Yeah. Well, first off, what's it like being a vampire on the internet? That's what I want to know.
It's a big one.
That's the first one, right?
There's a big difference. That's a two-part answer. Being a vampire on the internet is a lot different than being a vampire out and about.
I know. I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. On the internet, I actually get more haters than in real life. People are keyboard warriors, and they're like, delusional. Yeah. You're not a real vampire. You know?
It's so much easier to chase somebody with fire and brimstone online.
Why do they care? Why do you think they care?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, are they the gatekeepers of what it means to be a real vampire? Are they speaking from experience? Is there something that they need to tell me? Like, I have questions.
Yeah, right? Maybe people are such fans of vampires. It's like kind of like Jesus. You know, like if Jesus were to come and be like, I'm Jesus, people are like, you're not Jesus. Actually, I find that's probably wrong.
Do you feel like you're Jesus? Is that what you feel like? Can I ask a question?
I don't feel like I'm Jesus.
Okay, but you should have said yes, actually.
Yes, I am a cult leader.
So
but people are like, my fans get it and they enjoy it, and they like because I do ASMR. I do talk about like my real life vampire style,
but your ASMR is
No, it's not.
I'm sucking your blood. Please, Adam.
It's like tapping and like role plays and stuff like that. Like, because I'm a nerd at heart, right? So I do stuff like that.
Okay.
But my fans get it. Like the haters, though, they're always the ones to be like delusional. She needs God.
It sounds like your hater is Donald
for
Trump.
Harris. Like if that's a diss, but I digress.
Yeah. Your haters are Trump supporters. That's surprising at all. So you had a question?
Oh, yeah. So I watched that video that was we have to move because she's a vampire or whatever that video was.
Yeah.
And there was a moment you said, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a character you have for TikTok versus your real life vampire experience. So are those two separate things?
Yes, actually, because so this wig is obviously not my real hair. The fangs aren't real.
You don't say. I did call it. I did call it in our video. I was like, that's a wig for sure.
You were like, the wig is not doing you any favors. And I'm like, fair.
Oh yeah. What is the difference between the two?
So online, it's like my job. So
okay.
Like when I'm going streaming and stuff, I'm dressing up as a fictional vampire with the fangs and the hair and the makeup. And I'm making money from people.
The fangs are fake?
Yeah, my fangs are fake. Check it out.
Oh my God.
Whoa!
Yeah. Wow. You're breaking my mind right now.
But yeah, I do that. That's my job and I love it. And in real life, like my real life living vampirism looks a lot like, when all this stuff is off, I'm still a vampire. I'm still taking energy with consent. I'm still doing magic.
Yes.
I'm still doing all that stuff, but when I do wear this stuff, I feel like it's a reflection of like who I really am. So I do feel like they're one and the same, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Let's talk about the actual taking of the vampire stuff. So let's get it. We can go into how you discovered it, but let's get into the actual consent part of it. In that video, you describe yourself as you say you're an emotional vampire, but you talk about the technical term is more of like a psychic vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And real quick, what do you think of Colin Robinson? How do you think?
He's my favorite. I love him.
Your favorite.
He's so boring, but he's my favorite.
And you think that's a proper representation of the psychic vampire?
I would say no.
No, you think that's an unfair representation of emotional vampires?
I feel like it is unfair because one, he's boring, and
yes.
two, he just takes energy everywhere. Like there's no ceremony in it whatsoever. Like I love his character. I think it's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
But I don't think it's the proper representation of a real life living vampire.
Okay, so you want to boycott what we do in the shadows, is what you're saying?
No, I watch it.
Proper
I'm
representation. Okay, and then so talk about the consent part of it and how that works. Is that do you do it? Are you married or do you have a
I'm married.
So
like in that video when you saw Jean, that's my husband.
Yeah, and so do you do it with just your husband or with anybody else?
I do it with him sometimes. Usually it's friends.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So it's a lot like a Reiki session, except I'm taking the energy. And usually the people that come to me are people who feel really anxious or are just willing donors. And I'm like, man, I'm drained. Can I have some? And they're like, yes. And so I'll sit them down. I'll get in the mood. I'll feel my own like powers coming. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like things you can't even really say in English. In my mind, I can kind of visualize sucking up their energy. And that's kind of why we're called vampires, is because we suck energy. It's not because we want to suck your blood,
Okay.
Energy. Yeah.
So you wouldn't necessarily even qualify yourself as like more of like a Dracula. You're more of a psychic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Except I can't tell the future, so that's kind of a bummer.
But it's more of like a well, yeah.
Damn it.
Or there goes a whole game of trying to predict an almanac. Okay.
Predict an almanac.
Okay. Well, so if you had to describe a feeling, though, is to like a similar sort of, I guess, feeling, what would it be like as far when you take the energy in? Is it
kind of feels like turning on a light switch, like being in a cold, dark house versus turning on the lights and turning on the heat or air conditioning.
so like literally energy, like an energy, like you would describe energy? Wow.
Yeah.
I get the sense that a lot of what you do and your expression of yourself is fairly other people do this in other mediums, but how much do you find that the word vampire is what's like setting people off? Because like plenty of people have religion or they get the same thing from going to a sports game, or for me, like I do live theater, I'm wearing wigs and getting entered. When I do
I'm not Shakespeare. You're not Shakespeare. You're not Shakespeare. You probably voted for Kamala.
You're telling me an open mic isn't a bunch of vampires sucking the energy from people in a crowd?
I mean, yeah, definitely that. They definitely suck energy for sure. Yeah, out of the room.
Is it just you find the particular expression? Like I find there must be commonality between what you do and other people's practices that are
because and it seems like witchcraft is more accepted nowadays, which is great. But then like in that same space, like it's when the vampire stuff comes out, they think they don't they don't utilize the free service of Google to realize that is a magical spiritual practice that people do, and they instantly think that they instantly assume that I think I'm immortal and ageless and suck blood and sleep in a coffin, but that's like not what that is. And so that's when they're like, you're not a real vampire. But then like you'll go and you'll see people doing it, like witches. You'll see Christians doing it. They'll go to churches on there and they'll lay their hands on somebody and they'll be like, Shamala hamala.
That's so true though. And so, but just to want to circle back, you don't sleep in a coffin, or you are.
Oh, dude, have you seen the prices of coffins? I don't sleep in a coffin.
You got to lease one.
Yeah.
How do you think that would go over if I just like went into a funeral parlor and was like, "Can I lease a coffin from you?"
I could just see the funeral parlor owner just sweating, being like, "Oh my God, there's a vampire in here. This is literally my biggest fear.
This is literally why I got into the business.
Oh my
Honey,
God.
the day we've got into this, it's Van Helsing's coffin." Speaking of Van Helsing, are you worried about any vampire hunters coming after you?
No, they can try. They can try.
Okay, good. Well, actually, don't say that though. Like that's in this, maybe not say that.
Not in this economy.
Not in this economy.
Just cut that out.
Yeah. Maybe let's cut that. Do you just a quick thing? Do you eat food? You eat food and stuff?
I love food. I love food. I'm obsessed with buffalo wings.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I love pizza and spaghetti.
Okay.
And there's a specific type of thing that I love that people would not expect from me, and it is garlic.
Oh, you love garlic.
I love garlic.
Okay, how do you feel about blood sausage?
I love blood sausage.
Okay, cool. So let's go back to your discovery of you being a vampire. When did that happen?
Well, my entire life, I felt different than everybody else, but at the same time, I didn't think about that too much. I just kind of took it in stride and went about my life. And then in 2016, I saw a video of a woman talking about her experience as a living vampire and how she takes energy and needs other people's energy and like other different things. And I was like, that kind of sounds like me. But at that time, I was in a Christian cult and I pushed it aside.
Wait, in that video was Hillary Clinton's concession speech. That's what that was. Okay, no, too political. Okay, no, wait. So I see that joke would have worked before you said the Christian cult part.
Don't apologize.
That joke would have worked.
Stand by it.
But then you said the Christian cult. Wait. You were in a Christian cult and then you got out of it and realized you were a vampire?
Yes, it's a little more complicated than that. I grew up.
It's more complicated than that? That's crazy.
I grew up in a Christian cult.
What was the cult? Can you say?
It was a Pentecostal cult.
Okay. So you
They
can't
were
say
like
the name.
speaking in tongues and handling snakes and all that fun stuff.
Wait, was it one of those ones with like like a doomsday cult too?
A little bit, because they focused really heavy on the Book of Revelation.
And
I can't even
what-
remember anymore.
Matrix Revolution.
Matrix Revolution.
Revolution.
Mr. Smith, we pray to you. Did it involve like daggers and swords and cutting out demons from your back and stuff like that at all?
No, but they would give swords to children if they were like
Is that
graduating a certain level.
My friend who was also on this podcast was in 3 different cults, and it did involve swords, and it was a Pentecostal cult.
Oh my goodness!
And
I think that we were in the same cult.
What? That's crazy. Wait,
was it a little bit awesome? Was it just a little bit awesome?
That's what I was saying. That sounds pretty sick, though.
I mean, sorry if it was incredibly traumatic. Ask if the church was awesome.
I've like begun healing from it, and I can kind of joke about it now because I use a lot of humor to like help me heal. But I liked it because I grew up as an only child, homeschooled, sheltered, and that was like my opportunity to get out and take energy. So I liked church because I could get energy there. But I got out of that and then got into another church cult.
Wait,
and
so
then
you've been
out. Yeah, 2 of them. There's 2 of them.
Wait. So was it church or Christ Church? God dang it. I got to look this up because I swear to God, I bet you guys were in the same cult. That's crazy.
Because mine was in Ohio. But there was a huge like sector of it. So it was like Assemblies of God, and they would be like everywhere.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, cults were so preeminent in the 80s and 90s. So maybe they're all over. Christ Church was I believe the name of it. Christ
sounds generic.
Yeah. That's how they get you. Oh, I like Christ. I like church.
It's a normal church.
Yeah, that sounds normal. Anyways, demons on your back. That's how it went. That's so crazy. So you went from 2 cults, and then so how you always felt different. So you felt different, and you were like, it must be the cult, but then you discovered it was something else on top of that.
Yeah, because growing up the way I grew up, I was not really exposed to what other people did. And that became true as I got into my 20s because I got into a really bad relationship and in another cult. And so I didn't know the outside world. I didn't know how to do basic things. But then when the lockdown happened, I found TikTok and I saw that people lived so many different lives and they were on there living their truth. And I took a step back and was like, wow, that's really cool. And I decided on Halloween of 2021 that I was going to do a cosplay. And I did a vampire hunter, oddly enough, but that character became a vampire in my story. But then one day I looked at myself in the mirror with my vampire fangs on and everything. And I was like, this is not the costume. So again, I took a step back, did a lot of research, and was like, I'm allowed to believe what I believe, and I'm allowed to express that. And that's when I started getting a lot of problems because all the people that were in my life were those culty type people, and I lost everybody, pretty much everybody, except like family. And I got out of where I was, and I moved back to my hometown, and I just started rebuilding myself and really just figuring out the world.
Well, congratulations on that journey. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So awesome. Like really, really like inspiring.
Thank you.
Very, very brave and bold.
Yeah. Like to recognize that in yourself too. And to say, especially with religion too, to shun all of that. I mean, you went from cult to occult, I guess.
Yeah, right. That's perfect. Yeah.
So I guess in one way, I guess you put a stake in their heart in a certain way.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. Anyways, that's so crazy. So let me ask you this: with the vampirism, let's talk about your magic. When did you start doing the magic part of it as well?
This is a great story. I started doing it probably 3 months after I realized I was a vampire, because those two things are not interconnected. Like, you can be a vampire and not practice witchcraft. It's a whole separate thing. I'm like what I like to call eclectic, which means I pick up a few different things and I do what is me. I'm not in a coven or a halo. Like, I'm doing my own thing. And so it was about 3 months after, and I decided to do a spell that some friends online were doing, and it was basically just to cleanse yourself. And I was so scared to do the spell because of my like religious trauma that I was shaking doing the entire spell. And then like I went to the Dollar Tree to get my supplies. Like, it wasn't anything crazy. But I did the spell and I was like, actually, like, that felt great. I think I want to do more of them. And then I just kept getting like witchcraft books and reading about different types of magic outside of witchcraft, and just learning and growing and doing stuff like that.
What were the things at the dollar store that you had to get?
Oh, okay. So it was a clear plate, nail polish remover. I feel like there was one other thing, but I can't remember what it was, because you're supposed to light it on fire. I was given like special permission to do this spell.
From
yeah.
who?
It was a Native American.
From a Native American.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have mentioned before how you have, I guess, not necessarily cursed people, but done like I guess what you have referred to as a return to sender.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, guys, I don't curse people. I just hex.
yeah, you hex them. So wait, what's the difference?
Wait, were you roasting us?
Yeah.
Was that a roast from our podcast?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Return to sender.
Come full circle. So the difference between a jinx, a hex, and a curse. A jinx is really annoying. Like, maybe you hit every red light on the way to wherever you're going. A hex.
That was him today.
I didn't do it.
The
I didn't do
134.
it. A hex is like, it's going to take some work to kind of remove yourself, because like you might get hit by something, or you might have not so bad consequences, but enough consequences that it's more than an inconvenience. And then a curse is like, you've got to remove that because your whole family, on the 7th of every day of the year, like, you're going to get this bad luck. Like, that's a curse. And so I don't curse because I feel like the next generation probably doesn't deserve it. So I just stop at hex.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So what's an example of a hex that you've done before?
I talked about this one on that Love Don't Judge show.
Right.
Yeah, I did. Somebody had been sending a hex to my husband, and it involved nails in his tires, and like he would run over these. And so I kept the nails, and I decided to do a return to sender spell. And I put the stipulation on it that if this person that I thought did it didn't do it, that it wouldn't land on them. And usually my magic takes a while to manifest, but in this instance, it was like boom, and that person got their car totaled. So they obviously did it.
Wow.
So wait, this person was putting. Whoa, dang. So can how large is your community of fellow vampires, or like how wide is your? If you were on, say, a vampire LinkedIn, how large is your network?
I need to start a vampire LinkedIn now. That's a good idea.
I do want to pause because you are such a fucking office nerd. Because that is so your bailiwick. You had that's so amazing.
I think of everything in terms of productivity.
Yeah, I love that. Love that.
I would say, like, of course, like, I have my fans, but then I have some people who comment that they are practicing witches too, or that they've also found out that they're living vampires. But right now, I've not been really doing as much with that, just because I do eventually want to do something with that, but I want to approach it carefully because I don't want to start a cult.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Because you've already been there, done that. Don't want to do
so
that.
I don't want to be the leader of a cult. I feel like that would be, I would become everything I swore to destroy.
Yeah, I mean, but some would say like being an influencer, and this is not even my joke. It's a friend of mine's. It's like being an influencer is kind of like being the leader of a mini cult, because you're kind of doing that. So
a little bit, just a little.
It's like a little, you gotta, you have followers,
They call followers too, which is kind of
yeah, exactly. Just to go back to the magic part of it, because I used to be like, I loved witch stuff. I grew up in the 90s before Harry Potter. I didn't have Harry Potter.
Did you have Pokemon?
I had the Craft. All right.
Oh.
And the Craft was Harry Potter, but for people, for poor people. It was we didn't have Hermione. We had white trash Hermione.
Right.
And it was
she got
awesome.
sent away at the end because they thought she was crazy.
Yeah. It's the true witch stuff, we didn't have wizards. We just had, women, hysterical women, I guess. That's what.
Well, growing up in New England, as you can imagine, I saw the Crucible like twice a year.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Always just, I have it burned into my head. John Proctor screaming, "It is my name." Is that all related? I don't know. I'm just trying to.
I think it is. Yeah. No, I think it. I think. Well, all that to say, I love that shit. I love witch stuff. Even as you're mentioning this, and I'm just like, I want to believe. Especially, there was a story, very recently about how witches were trying to curse Donald Trump, and Donald Trump apparently had a shield. And they said it wasn't working.
That's awesome.
And I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. He has a shield.
Him with a shield.
I was about to say the reason that those didn't work is probably because, you never know when you send a hex on somebody. You never know what their spirit team is. We don't know. We don't know Donald Trump's what he does behind closed doors. He may be sacrificing to Hecate, and we don't know.
And I don't know what Hecate is, but I bet you it's fucked up. I bet you it's fucked up. I don't know what it is.
Sacrifice
in the best possible ways.
Do you think? Yeah, we don't have to get political. I feel like he's got a big dark energy.
Yeah, he's got dark energy for sure. But yeah, so I think I love that stuff. If you do start a cult, please let us know.
Do you want to join? Can I get your name and number?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's 100%.
I got my bank account information ready to go.
Social Security.
I will show us the compound. We'll be there.
Okay, cool.
Let's go to our first game if you're ready. You down for some games?
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. So, I guess you could say this is our interview with a vampire, right?
Pause for applause.
Okay, it's too many at this point. You guys are tired. You guys are tired of it already.
I'm a huge fan.
No, so this is. And how often do you get to have a chance to talk to an actual vampire? We've already established you're not really a vampire, but we're going to talk about some vampires.
It's I'm not really a vampire, but I'm a vampire.
You're a vampire. But we're going to talk about some vampire stereotypes, and you just let us know if any of these are true or false to you. Okay? And please, I'll read one, and then she'll answer. We could trade off.
You got it.
Okay?
Okay, let's do it.
This one I'm sure you know exactly about. This is all pulled off of Reddit. So great source. All blood. Source. According to Reddit, all blood tastes the same to vampires. True or false?
False.
Okay. Interesting. And you know this how?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay.
Second question. All vampires are rich.
False.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not pulling in those 6 figures from TikTok yet, but we're getting there.
Nice.
Feels like Dracula was maybe a Nepo baby, inherited wealth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Freaking Gerber baby. Trust fund.
We should start calling them Gerber babies instead of Nepo babies. I like that. True or false? Only men are vampires.
That's false because, you see, I'm not a man and I'm a vampire.
That's true.
I was curious if this was an annoying, technically, a female vampire is called a XYZ.
It's a vampirin or something.
I think people think it's that serious, but it's not. It's not that serious.
Yeah.
You can't be born as a vampire.
Interesting.
That's false because I was born as a vampire. Yeah, it was something that I discovered that I was. I always was it. I didn't become it. I just always was.
That actually is a good point. This is not part of the game, but could you turn somebody into a vampire? This is a big part of being a vampire.
I don't believe so, but I also am starting to wonder because I feel like I've done some research, and there are things called sympathetic vampires, which are people who, if they're around you for long enough, start to believe that they're doing it too. Just because vampires are very notorious with glamour magic, which if it's out of control, people become obsessed with them, and so they think that they're vampires. Yeah,
and they listen to a lot of Queen as well.
Sort of like a kid that goes on a study abroad and comes back with a British accent.
Like Madonna. Kind of like that.
They're like Madonna. Okay, all vampires are old.
No, that's going to be false because I'm 29 years old and about to be 30 in a few months. So, vampires come in all ages.
All ages. Okay. All right. Interesting.
All vampires are goth.
I want to say that's true, but I know it's not. I feel like a vast majority of us lean towards more gothic things because black is a color of protection, and that's why we wear it. But it also just feels fun. So I want to say yes, but it's false. It's false. There are some that aren't.
See, I think that's confirmation bias. Because if you're saying goth is if black is fun, that sounds goth as hell. That's a goth question. That's a goth answer.
So that to be determined.
Wait, so I guess how many vampires do you know, and are you willing to divulge that?
Oh, I know some. I know some vampires. I used to be friends with one, and I'm not friends with them anymore.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because they ended up kind of being like not such a great person, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna separate myself from you. But then there are like other vampires who are super chill, and they don't take themselves seriously, and they just want to help each other.
I said they sucked while you were talking. They
sucked. That's a good one. They sucked.
You can hear. You can.
We have a problem, which is that when we think of a joke, we can't physically stop ourselves from saying it.
It's like you're compelled. The power of humor compels you.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
I think my parents would be happier if I was a vampire than a comedian.
I mean, yeah.
So that you could make money on TikTok going like this.
Exactly.
Thank you for the roses.
Yeah. Okay. Vampire women are very thirsty and not necessarily for blood.
True.
Oh, damn. Oh, wow. That was quick.
Whoa.
That's so quick.
Whoo! Dang.
She was right on that. Dang.
So true.
Shout out to Sean. Get it, boy. Get it, boy.
Good job, Sean. Sean, you know things.
This one says, okay, it says, so, all right, it says, is this the explanation?
Yeah, maybe don't do
okay,
that.
No, I like that. No, I have to say that second part. It says vampires can teleport, in parentheses, no, they are just fast.
I am so slow. This is going to be false because I take my sweet time to do everything. I'm a Capricorn. I'm an earth sign. I move slow. And everybody around me suffers for it. They always complain about how it takes so long to do this and that. I'm always the person that's late. I'm always the person that's walking the slowest in the group. Like, I'm so freaking slow.
Interesting. But not a teleporter.
Not a teleporter. If I could, that would be really great for me because I'd probably get there in the same amount of time as they did.
This next one is very long. I don't know why it's so long. Okay. Vampires love meat juices that come from the pan after they cook. Parentheses, they don't. That's not blood. Thank you for including that. Not all of us like it raw. I actually prefer a good. Oh, so this is answered by a real vampire.
I like the meat juices.
This is like what? Actually, this is like answered by a weeb. Actually, thank you for including. That's not all of us like it raw. I actually prefer a good flambe for humans. Wow, interesting. Anyways, going back. Vampires love meat juices that come from the pan after they cook.
That question was so long-winded that I'm not sure how to answer it.
But doesn't everyone? Isn't au jus when you get like a sandwich? Aren't we all dipping our bread in that meat juice?
Oh, okay. Maybe. I mean, I don't go after it. It's not like I'm taking the pan and like guzzling it down.
Well, that would be dangerous.
That would be dangerous. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that at home or anywhere.
Yes. And only do it if you have vampire immunity. A vampire immunity.
So heads up, we're getting into the section of questions where they all have these parentheses with long explanations.
Things that were just like asked on Reddit.
No, this is here's the crazy part is like I found it's a thread.
They're very funny.
It's a post. It wasn't like these aren't individual comments. These are, I guess, people like were editing. I don't even know where they found it. But yeah.
Okay, so it's now I've never heard this. Vampires hate pets. Now, then it says in parentheses, they love pets, except humans, who are also on the list. Just as people may have a pet chicken, they might have a human pet. They're most likely errand runners. Most of us aren't kinky.
Okay.
All right, that's separate all of a sudden. So do vampires hate pets and ignore everything I said after that?
Yeah.
No, vampires don't hate pets. A lot of us have pets because in the... I guess vampires do it too, but like in the witchcraft community, they really are called familiars to us because a lot of animals are drawn to good energy. And so like my cat comes over here and she messes with my altar all the time. I love my cat. I love our cat. She is beautiful. She came to us like a week before we moved states. And so we took her with her. So this vampire loves animals.
All right, this is the last one, and then we're going to move on to our next game. Vampires are actually aliens. What the no? Yeah.
How do they know that? How do they know? That's been a theory for a while. I don't believe I'm an alien. I feel like I would know. But maybe you don't know. But I don't believe I'm an alien.
There's another really cool cult called Scientology you might want to check out.
Yeah.
They might have some answers.
Tom Cruise. Cool one. Yeah, Tom Cruise that played Lestat in Interview with the Vampires.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So maybe I should be in it too.
He's your connection right there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Those questions are wild, by the way. If you want to see the full list.
It was the parentheses for me. I was like, why does it need an explanation? Just ask the question.
Can I ask a quick follow-up question in addition to this?
Yeah.
So is there anything considered like hack in vampire world? Like in comedy, we have like, that joke is kind of, I remember my first year being a vampire. Is there anything that like when you see it is
like
that
a comedy, every stand-up comedian who's a terrible comedian has like a 9/11 joke. And it's like, get out of here, dude. Like, get out of here. What's your 9/11 joke?
No, what is there something that makes you like roll your eyes when you see a fellow vampire doing it?
Probably. Okay. It kind of like rubs me the wrong way when people that say they're real vampires start going on a tangent that they're 1,000 years old and can turn you into a vampire for the low cost of $3.39. You know, it's like, bro, come on.
It should be 666. That's what
yeah, for real.
Promising it for money when it should be for free is what you're saying.
Oh, no, it's the fact that's just like the cherry on top, but it's the fact that they're going around saying they're 300 to 1,000 years old and talking about how they remember World War II and all this stuff. And it's like, no, that's not what a real vampire is. You're just looking goofy, bro.
So have you met many of those, you think?
I try to steer clear from them. It's usually the ones on TikTok, and I try just to not interact. I'm like, I'm not gonna open that jar.
That's a good idea.
Okay, so we have just a few more games. One quick one, and then we're gonna end with our famous game, Wild Opinions. But we do, again, we got to take advantage of the situation here. Are you a fan of vampire movies? Or would you say
I love vampire movies.
Love it. All right. We're going to rate from a scale of 1 to 10. You can only say one number once.
Oh no.
I'm going to give you this list now.
I'm scared.
And what these numbers are. So you can only say them. Say the numbers once.
And you can never say them again.
You can never say the number again.
Okay.
Okay. So save some. You have some already that are your favorite, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if none are mentioned, feel free to like scold me. But
Okay.
I'm gonna say some, and you just give me the number. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Starting with The Lost Boys. What do you guys rate that one?
6.
Ooh.
Never seen it.
Okay.
That might be my answer for a lot of these.
I think I'll give that one. Yeah, that's a middle of the road for me too. I'll go 5. Okay, let's do Underworld.
5.
Woo!
Never seen it.
I'll do
Bruh.
exactly, bruh. I'm gonna go 7. I love that movie.
Okay.
What about From Dusk Till Dawn?
I'm gonna have to do a 3 because we didn't know it was a vampire movie until like the very end.
Oh, interesting. Okay, all right, interesting.
Which way are we doing this, Bo? Is number one, or is like 10 the ultimate?
I hope 10's the ultimate because that's how I've been playing this
That's
game.
what I've been doing too. That's what I've been doing
Okay.
too. That's okay.
Okay,
That's
what
what
I
I've
thought. The vibe I was getting, I was like, huh?
Yes, that's what I've been doing too. I would actually give that one. I would give that one a 6. Okay. Blade.
Oh,
That's a hard one. I'm gonna have to go with 4 because the vampires are the bad guys.
What? Okay. All right. Fair. I'd be hard pressed to find a movie where the vampires aren't the bad guys, but
I know.
okay.
As soon as that phrase
Okay.
left my mouth, I was like, "Wait."
But okay. No, I hear you. I hear you on that. I hear you.
I
Okay.
think Blade is cool himself, though. I think he's cool.
Blade is, and then again, Blade is the good guy in that one. I think I'm gonna go 8 on that one.
really?
Yeah, easily.
It's like it's Matrix vibes.
I was just thinking that you read my.
I think maybe
every
that's
second.
why I scored it so low too, because I'm not really into the Matrix, so
Yeah.
I like
Okay.
more artsy type things.
Gotcha. Okay,
Maybe like a 6.
6.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's middle of the road. It's not my favorite one on this list, but it's definitely every time I watch it, I'm like, God, what? This is wild.
All right. Interview with a Vampire.
10, 10, 10, 10. Slap it. 10, 10, all the way. 10.
It's so funny. I would give this a 1.
Oh!
It's so funny. It's so funny. I was just talking to my wife.
my fang about that.
I was just talking to my wife.
Give it a 1.
It's just so funny because I was talking to my wife about this. She loves this movie, and I was like, "No,
Good for her.
I hate." Yeah, I was like, "I can't do this movie." And she's like,
Why?
"It's so good. It's so good." I was like, "I'm gonna tell you something. I've never seen it. I've actually never seen it.
I haven't
I
either.
How can
refuse
you
to
give
see
it
this
a
movie."
1?
You're right. I can't. But you're right. I just seen clips, and I was like, "I don't like it. I don't like it. Something about it I don't like." So to be fair, I've never seen it.
You just
so I won't
watched the
score.
trailer and you're giving it a 1. Oh,
I've seen it on like TNT or something. So
that's your source. Come on, bro. You've got to watch the movie.
all right. The vampire. She's glamming me into liking it. I guess. Maybe to watching it.
Mhm.
All right. What We Do in the Shadows, the movie.
9.
9.
Yeah, that's probably.
I love that movie.
I gotta say, of these films, can I see the? I guess, but I can't. I think it's the exercises I don't know. I'll give it a 9 too.
9.
It's I love
Oh,
that
yeah.
movie.
It's hilarious.
God, it's so good.
It's like artsy and funny, and that's a really hard combo to put together, and I appreciate that they did it.
Yes.
Okay.
You seen it?
I have seen it. I like it. I like it a lot.
You see
I
my
like it a lot.
face? You better rate it good.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot. There's one that I can't remember if I've said a 9 yet.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'll give it a 9. I'll give it a 9 because there's one that I want to give a 10.
Very good.
All right, Nosferatu, the first one.
Oh, I'm gonna
Has
have to
anybody seen that
give.
one?
Have I said 8 yet?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna say 8 because that's a beautiful movie. Except the ending. The ending got me. I was like, that ending was corny, but the rest of the movie was good. So I'm giving it an 8.
I'll do 8 too. It's the classic. I love the imagery from it. Every time I see it, I'm like, this just looks great.
Like the shadowing, like
Yeah.
that's perfect.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that one. I've seen clips, but it looked good. All right, I'm trying to think. Okay, Twilight.
2.
2.
Yeah, it's low for me too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get.
The book was so much better than the movie.
What if this was my 10?
Is the one I've been waiting for.
Vampire Hunter. No. This will be my. This is my.
I'll
give this a 2.
When I watch it, I just feel like I don't care at all about what's going on with them. You know what I mean? That's how I feel when I watch it. But the book's clearly like made a huge impact. I felt the same way about
book was so much better.
Watching Hunger Games, I was like, I bet this makes so much more sense in the book.
Yeah. Definitely. 30 Days a Night.
I've never seen it. I've never seen that one.
It's good. I think it's fun. I'm giving it a 4 just because it's in the list. If since you've never seen it, all right. This is the last one I'll list. This is my favorite. Let the Right One In. This is 10.
That's a good one.
That sounds like a dating book.
This is a 10 right here. This is a 10.
Never seen it.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
This slaps all day, every day, all day. And both versions. There's an American version and I think the first one's Swedish. Swedish.
Swedish.
It was remade with what's her name, Chloe or something.
Sevigny?
Yeah. When she was still young, it slaps. Both. It's like a shot for shot remake in the American version. Slaps. Everybody should go watch it. Well, thank you for that. That was amazing.
Yay! I'm so glad Interview with the Vampires on there. I'm surprised Abigail. There's like this new movie. I think it's called Abigail.
Oh yeah, Abigail with the kid.
Oh,
yes.
I watched that.
I watched that too. Yeah, it was all right. It was fine.
Is she a vampire? I've been told that she's a vampire.
Yeah,
I think so.
And she's older, right? That's kind of a twist.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, right. The whole
I gotta
family.
watch that.
It's all right. It wasn't a terrible one.
It's fine.
Okay. I'm gonna pull this up on my phone so both y'all can't see it. Wait, where's my phone?
I'm blind without my glass. I'm blind as a bat.
Oh,
See, I can do it too.
You did it.
By the way, you can't turn into a bat, right? That's not a thing.
Wait, what?
You can't turn into a bat, right? Just
no, I can't turn into a bat. That would be so convenient, though. Like any awkward situation I'm in, if I could just turn into a bat and fly away, that would be so great.
I felt like so ignorant asking that. Do you know what I mean?
She's like, what?
I feel like someone going to
She's like, I'm sorry.
Canceled.
What? No, did you really just ask me that?
Like a person going to France and being like, do you really just eat all butter?
Okay, we'll make this quick and then we'll wrap up. Thank you so much for your time here.
Oh, thank you guys.
All right, so these are pulled from our unpopular opinion. This is called Wild Opinions. There are real opinions from real people. Here we go. You guys let me know if you agree or disagree. There shouldn't be a problem with continuing to live in your parents' house. Disagree or
I
agree?
disagree.
You disagree.
I can see him. I can see the guy that wrote this. You're telling me a Reddit poster wrote this? Why? It's not a problem.
They're just like, yeah, no problem.
He's the guy that the girls are talking about on r/neckbeard.
Yeah. He's like posting it immediately. Like, yeah, Mom, I'm looking for a job right now. God, I got to post this.
There's strength in my decision.
Yeah. So you disagree?
I guess I mildly. Whatever.
I mean, it is saving money, I guess, at the end of the day. But I mean,
if you're 30 years, it's more about like what you contribute to the household. So like if you still live with your parents and you're not contributing, then that's kind of cringe. But like if you're there to help your parents. Yeah. Or like you're contributing just as much 100%. As they are, if not more, because 100%. You're the younger one, then that's fine to me.
Yeah, it's more along the lines of like, like, are you doing it for yourself are you doing it because you have to? Or are you doing it because you want to? That's the difference. Yeah. Okay. All it takes is wealth and a podcast, and the masses will follow like sheep.
Disagree.
I disagree.
Oh, so you disagree? Okay, cool. Interesting. Why? That's interesting.
I disagree because just because you have money doesn't mean you have talent or skill. So like you could get on to whatever you're using and post your podcast, but if you're like and then you leave like all the breaths in and you're like then it's like no one's gonna listen to your show.
I feel attacked right now.
I feel like the thing that makes podcasting successful instantly is fame. Like if you're a famous person and you start a, like if
true.
Tom, I almost said Tom Cruise. If Tom Hanks started a podcast, you're telling me people would be like, oh, listen to that.
That's true. I think what this person may be construing is that a wealthy person is often immediately famous. Like we do.
So if they're famous, I agree. But if they're like we'll say the Gerber Baby Trust Fund baby starts a podcast, like maybe it's not going to go over so well.
It's very true. I do feel like in America, we do hold wealthy people to a level of fame. And so we immediately do want to follow them. So I think they might be, hey, say it again and say it better next time, Redditor. All right, this next one. Teenagers and adults shouldn't be judged for carrying stuffed animals in public. Again, another Redditor coming out of nowhere from a Redditor who wants to.
I feel like I agree. Because they're not hurting anybody. If they want to carry a plushie, it's better that they carry that than like a Glock, you know?
Fair enough.
Open carry beanie babies.
Fair enough. You are right. You are right. You know.
What do you guys think?
Change the Second Amendment to plushy babies, plushy little guys.
I feel like everyone ascribes anything that's not the boring standard of American culture to deviancy. Like, so I just feel like it's like it's not harming anyone. I don't really care.
Yeah?
Yeah, I agree. Who cares?
Like, I might get a chuckle out of it, but like, I don't want them to stop doing it.
Well, I feel like, I don't know. Okay, so like, I think what this person is like, okay, we're talking about like a blankie or like a comfort. Yum, yum, yum. I feel like you should be judged because it's
you can take anything too far, you know.
It's like you're not graduating from.
That's fair.
You know, your next. Yeah. It's like, what's next? Are you gonna keep breastfeeding? You know, up until. You know what I mean? Like it's
false equivalency.
Okay.
But I mean, if I walk around in public dressed like this, I certainly can't judge too harshly.
You're a perfect person to weigh in on this. So
I would say it's all about your relationship with it. If it's important to you and you want to keep
your relationship with it, like what kind of relationship are we talking?
Deeply emotional,
yes.
Occasionally sexual.
Oh yeah, if you're 25 and you're carrying that, you're definitely fucking that beanie baby for sure.
That's what I think everyone's thinking.
Yes,
that's what I think all the weirdos. Anyways,
yes,
I guess I don't really care. It's better than a gun. Hellie's correct.
Okay. Most podcasts suck.
Ooh.
Now, I agree.
I agree too. Sorry.
I agree. Yeah.
Yours doesn't suck.
Thank you so much. No, I really appreciate that. And that's only sometimes. I agree. I worked in podcasts. As a producer and stuff. And I'm very fortunate to work on a lot of good ones. I've worked on a lot of bad ones.
Yeah, before I did this, I was a podcaster, like a co-host in a really bad podcast. So I know that there are a lot of bad podcasts out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Would you say what percentage of podcasts that have more than 10,000 listens a month are bad? Is it also hold true?
I mean, if you have 10,000 listeners a month, I think that, you know, enough people are thinking, wow, this is worth listening to. Or even if you have like a few thousand a month.
I would say
Adam shaking his head.
No, I think it's like, it's literally like we just said. It's like if you're a celebrity, people will just listen to you.
Yeah.
10,000 is so easy to get as a celebrity.
That's true. And maybe their podcasts suck. So yeah, okay. Yeah, I get that now.
Yeah. And the listens. Right. Like there's Indian
the people
farms.
They paid to listen to it.
Yeah. Indian farm bays that you fucking get somebody to buy and they.
It's wild.
Yeah. To listen. Whoa. Oh, that's wild. There's a sign here. Oh yeah. You can see it. But yeah, like it's the stuff that the celebrities talking about and
it's just like yawn.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm going to say this right now. Joe Rogan is one of the most boring fucking podcasts.
Dude, I cannot stand that podcast.
It's so boring. And it boggles my mind.
I would say that to his face, too. I'd be like, man, I just don't like your podcast.
Like, tighten it up, bro. Like, tighten. Like, it's it's just a matter of editing. That's all I'd say. Like
his editing is really bad. You would think that like he would have an editor, and maybe he does, but like I don't know. It's not like with it.
It's a flex of like, oh, it's just a natural conversation. No, I don't want a natural conversation.
Not when you're coughing into the microphone and your cough filter doesn't work anymore. Like,
bro, I can't believe this. This speaking truth right now. Okay, all right. This is the last one, and then we'll wrap up here. This is great. Dark mornings are more enjoyable than dark evenings.
Yes, I agree.
Why do you agree, Vampire Hellie?
Vampire. I don't like the sun. It makes me. It really does. The sun really does make me feel nauseous and gross.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. You do have some sort of allergy for the sun. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can call it an allergy or what, but like every time I'm in the sun, I feel like my energy is depleted and I feel nauseous and headachy, and so the sun is not my friend. The sun is my biggest hater.
Yeah.
I would say LA might be a nightmare for you.
Yeah, don't come to LA for sure.
I won't.
You should think about Alaska. Think about Alaska.
Oh yeah, I've wanted to go there.
Yeah, 30 days a night. What do you think?
Dark mornings? So is this saying like, is this like overcast, cloudy, like?
Yeah, I think, well, we could find out what they actually mean, but what I took this as is like a daylight savings or daylight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dark mornings are better than dark evenings. I would prefer a dark evening over a dark morning. I like the morning to be bright. It's hard for me. I don't mind it getting dark earlier, honestly, as long as there's windows so I can see it happening. It was wildly depressing when I used to work a job that the windows were all closed, so I would go in and when it was dark and I would leave and it was dark.
Yeah.
I did not like that.
Yeah. I agree with you. I'm a morning person. I want it to be bright in the morning.
Or if you work in a box, like a soundproof room, and you don't know, you do your stuff, and then by the time you get out, it's like a whole different time of day.
Yeah, it's like working in a coffin, you know. Thank you so much. Are there any one of these you guys want to deep dive in? So there shouldn't be a problem with living with your parents. All it takes is wealth. Teenagers shouldn't be judged. Podcasts suck. And dark mornings. Any ones you guys want to do a deep dive into real quick to see what this person was talking about?
I want to do the plushie one. My vote is on the plushies because I want to know where they're coming from.
Okay. All right. Let's see what this person was actually talking about. Ooh, it's a little bit longer. User, my brain is shallow, says teenagers and adults shouldn't be judged for carrying stuffed animals in public. And he goes on to say, I'm assuming it's a person or a man. I don't understand what's wrong with it. It's literally just fabric, and people who get weirded out or angry over it should probably just focus on their own life. If someone wants to carry a stuffed animal around, it shouldn't be judged. If it helps comfort someone and isn't harmful, then there is nothing wrong with it. That's that. Plus, it feels so good when I fuck it. All right, I added that last part. I added that last part.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's
so
kind of,
right. You were right when you were talking about the relationship.
Yeah.
I knew it. I'm psychic.
He just kind of threw that in there, though, too. He was like, and also.
Yeah. Well, speaking of also, Hellie, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was amazing to have you on.
Oh, thank you.
So
this
amazing.
Was fun. I'm so glad I did this.
This is awesome. Is there anything you want to plug before we head out?
Follow me on TikTok at the Vampire Hellie. YouTube is Vampire Hellie. And then I wrote and published a book of poetry called Poems for Vampires, and it's on Amazon.
Whoa, awesome. That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Please check that out. Kenny, is there anything you want to plug before we head out?
If you're in New York City, come see my show on January 12th. And if you're in Los Angeles, I'm doing shows. So, follow me at K3NNYGRAY, Kenny Gray.
Wonderful. And follow this pod at That Was Wild Pod. And like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Subscribe that button, leave a comment, and shout out. Do you think it's weird to carry a stuffed animal that you might eventually fall in love with and marry one day? Please shout out. We're gonna look down the barrel of that camera. You can look down the barrel of your camera and say that was wild on the count of 3. we're going to be out of sync, obviously. But we're going to do that, and we're going to end the show like that. So on the count of 3, we're going to say that was wild. All right? 3, 2, 1.
That was wild.